Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Fiberista Files. Today is Monday, June 27th, 2016. I'm your host Heather, also known as Fiberista Files on Twitter and Instagram, and Boudros Babe on Ravelry. If you are new to the podcast, welcome, and if you're a returning viewer, thank you even more. You can find the shop at shop.highlandhandmades.com. There's also a Facebook group. If you haven't liked us already, head over there. It's facebook.com/highlandhandmades. We're all over the web. Come join us. Me, I guess. Us. There's more than, join everybody. How are you? It's been a couple weeks, I think. It's been a week and a half, I think, since I recorded last. It's been both busy and boring, if that makes any sense at all. Last time I spoke with you, I was just about to go into my surgery. I had a total hysterectomy on Friday the 17th. That went really, really well. I got in no problems. My surgery was scheduled for like 20 past 7. Like, it was scheduled for very early in the morning. And they kept saying, this is an outpatient surgery with an option to stay, right? And I was like, doctor told me I really wasn't going to go home, but we'll see, I guess. I woke up after surgery probably around 10 or 10:30. I was a hurt unit. The surgery took about twice as long as they had expected because instead of finding endometriosis like they did the last time I had surgery, they actually found a giant fibroid on the back of my uterus. This is all TMI in case you didn't already know this, so you could fast forward a few minutes if you don't want to hear this. But anyway, so it was more complicated than they had anticipated, but totally well within the scope of my surgeon's capabilities. So they had to do a little bit more work, and I was a little bit more sore than I had anticipated when I woke up. It was probably, 6 p.m. before I got my pain really under control. But once it was under control, I felt fantastic. Paul stayed until about 4 o'clock that afternoon. Then he went home. The dog was at home, so we had to go home and let the dog out and stuff. I did stay in the hospital. There was no way I was going home. Like, I was hurt. I have 4 incisions on my stomach. I have them at like 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, noon, and like 4 p.m. So if my stomach was a clock, that would be where my incisions are. So there's 4 incisions, but they're healing really well. They look really good. I got home Saturday morning, and I was pretty sore on Saturday. By Sunday, I felt pretty good. By Sunday, I was done taking the prescription meds. By Tuesday, I was done taking ibuprofen and have not had any pain meds since last Wednesday. It's now Monday. So it is astounding to me that modern medicine can remove an organ from the human body, and you can be pain-free from that 4 days later. I don't even know how that's possible. I do believe my surgeon is an amazing man. Obviously very talented, but still, like, in what world am I just bothered by the itchiness of my incisions? Like, that's all. I'm sorry if you can hear weird buzzing. My window is open, and there's bumblebees out there on the rose bushes right outside my window, and they're distracting me because there's a couple that are making some funny buzzing sounds. Like they're stuck or something. I don't know. Anyway, everything went fantastic. I've had no complications. I am having a really hard time living with the restrictions. So I'm not allowed to lift anything over 15 pounds. I'm not allowed to walk my dog. I'm not allowed any strenuous physical activity. I can't run. I can't lift. I can't do anything like that. Basically, I just have to sit and wait for my body to heal. And I have plenty of crafty things to keep me occupied. I tried really hard to take a week off of work. I did mail a couple of orders, but other than that, like, I really tried hard to not work at all. That was torture. Oh my God, that was so bad. I just read and played on the internet and read and then napped and then played on the internet. And then I did walk a couple of days. I walked around the block the first day, which was about a quarter mile. That was on Monday. On Monday? Yeah, on Tuesday I walked the big block, which is almost a mile. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I walked to the post office, which is a mile and a quarter, and back. To post office and back is a mile and a quarter. So I did, I've been walking, but I can't even walk the dog. Like, the poor dog is just like, what is going on in its life? I hate it. Because he pulls on the leash and I can't with the incisions. I don't want to rip anything. So it's been a bit of a trick, acclimating to the reduced physical activity. I feel so good right now. I just want to go back and do everything. Oh my God. The thought of going to the gym and doing squats or deadlifts, like, I know I can't. I know. I get it. I get it. But for the first time, maybe I can do it and it won't hurt. Like, I'm really ready. I'm really, really ready. Good news is the surgeon thinks that the fibroid was what was causing all of my pain and all of my other symptoms as well. So he's pretty confident that I'm going to be pain-free now. We'll see. I have a follow-up appointment on Friday, and I'm hoping to get some restrictions lifted. I'm sorry I'm so overexposed, guys. I have put stuff in the windows to, like, darken them, but it's a bright day out, so sorry. You're going to get powder me. Anyway, so I have an appointment on Friday, and I hope that all goes well, and I hope some restrictions are lifted. We'll see. I am still planning on doing the club and getting that out on time. That's this week. I have the box right here behind me. And I plan on getting that done today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. I'm going to have to break it up because of the physical restrictions. But that's okay. I've got plenty of time. So I'm hopeful that everything will be going as planned. Now, all of that said, I also had a birthday. I love my birthday. My birthday was on the 22nd, and I know that was only 5 days after surgery, but I was able to still have a very good time. My husband bought me all kinds of presents and spoiled me, and I received some gifts from friends as well, and generally had an amazing time. And so I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I got, as well as what I've been doing over the past couple of weeks, week and a half. So let's get to it, shall we? Let's start with knitting. I've actually not done a whole lot of knitting. I refused to knit while I was on the heavy pain meds because just a bad idea. And then once I was down to the ibuprofen, I could, but I found that sitting and knitting was making me sleepy. Like, when I knit, my body relaxes, my heart rate comes down, my blood pressure comes down, and on a good day, it can put me to sleep. But while recovering from surgery, I'm much more susceptible to sleeping, so I would knit a little bit and then conk out for an hour. I've had pretty steady, like, half-hour, hour-long naps every day, and it comes pretty quick. Like, I'm feeling fine, yeah, this is wonderful, and then boom, I'm done. I'm out for an hour, which I suppose is normal. But the little knitting, sorry, that was my shade falling. The little knitting that I have been doing has been fun and engaging knitting. So this is the sock that I'm doing for the Little Skein and the Big Wool Sock School Knit Along 2016 in the official Sock School 2016 bag. This is a sock of my own yarn in my own design. This is the Freedom Calls colorway on Speckled Alder sock, which is a 90-10 superwash Targhee nylon yarn. It's how you can see it's kind of lining up a little bit right there. And I've turned the heel. You'll notice that I did slip stitching like you do in a normal heel, but I did it on the bottom of the foot, not the top of the foot, because I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. Idiot. So it looks a little weird, but it is what it is. And I have started the patterning on the back of the leg. So this is a pattern that will spiral up the foot, up the leg, and I believe, I don't know if you can see, there will be a channel of a single stitch. because I knit the first stitch on each needle, so there'll be one stitch that's not involved in the process. And basically I did that because this stitch pattern has a slip yarn over. Anyways, it's got a PSS, so a pass a slip stitch over, and I didn't want to have to worry about passing that slip stitch over across the needle. So essentially the front needle, needle 1 is the pattern, and then needle 2 repeats the pattern, but it doesn't go all the way around. It doesn't corkscrew completely. Because if you've ever done a pass slip stitch over, you know what a pain it can be when you've got to do it across 2 needles. So, and I don't like knitting on double points. I'm using my Chai-Gu reds, the angled joins, which I had heard that these were discontinued. That is in fact not true. You can absolutely get these needles with the angled ends from Chai-Gu. In fact, you can get them from me because I'm a Chai-Gu rep now. There will be Chai-Gu product in my shop soon. That will be a pre-order basis, so you'll order it and then I'll get it from the company and then mail it to you until I have stock in hand. But I'm very excited about that, and that's one of the things I'm doing in my recovery is putting those all in the shop. So that's that. I've turned the heel. We'll see how this goes. I still have this much yarn of the first sock ball and another ball to do after that. This will probably not be finished in time for the end of the Cal, which is the end of July, but that's okay. They're for me, so there's no time limit, and I'm just going to have fun with it. The other thing I'm knitting is also a cow. It is the CFSSAL, which is the Corinna Ferguson Summer Shawl Knit Along. Summer Shawl Along, sorry. And I'm knitting her, and somebody sent me the pronunciation, and my phone was not allowing me to listen to it, so I still don't know. Lacune, I don't know. Let me see if I can show you the word. Yep, I can right there. Look at that. So it's Lacaune. I am 4 repeats complete of chart B, which is the increase chart. So I did the end and then 4 repeats of 5 that I need. I'm not sure how well. You probably can't see because this is lace. But let me find that there behind it, maybe. So it's this fun shawl with these, you can totally see those rings there, right? These rings, they almost look like octopus suckers. Probably not what Picnic Knits was going for, but that's what it looks like to me. So it's basically it's a weigh it sort of shawl. You knit halfway, increasing, and then when you get half, you decrease down. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to do more than 5 repeats of the increase section because I still have, it doesn't even look used. So why wouldn't I make it longer? Why wouldn't I, right? I had 105 grams of this to begin with. This is Into the World Hijinks in their Pokako? I don't know how to say theirs either. Base, which is a BFL nylon base. And it's beautiful. It's the Hijinks semi-solid colorway. And I am loving this combination. You get little pops of color as you knit. Like it's mostly dark. You can see it's dark. And then you'll get a little bit of a bright teal or a red or a purple. And it's really beautiful to knit with. This is obviously going to be blocked pretty aggressively. And I'm really enjoying knitting it. The chart does require attention to be worked correctly. Like, I'm gonna put my fingers over some of it so that you can't, copy. But the charts are pretty busy. This is the repeated section right here, and it's a 6-stitch repeat, but you get another repeat twice every time you do the chart. So you start out with just 1 repeat. By the time you've done chart B once, you've got 3 repeats, twice, then you've got 5 repeats. So that section keeps getting longer, and I have to count each stitch because it's not the same pattern every row, so I have to really pay attention. It's not like card knitting. But that's okay. Like, I'm totally capable of knitting more complicated lace. Hell, I'm 95% done with an even star. So I'm capable of knitting it. It does require that I A, be awake, and B, not be watching something on Netflix that I have to actually watch. So I just totally did binge watched the most recent season 3, I think, of S.H.I.E.L.D. or 4, season 3, 4, whatever one just showed up on Netflix. And I loved it. But I couldn't knit that and watch at the same time because you really have to watch S.H.I.E.L.D. to see what's going on. It's good. I love S.H.I.E.L.D. So that's knitting. That's really all I've been knitting. I've also knit a couple of rows on that half hexie, the elongated half hexie shawl, but not enough to show you. So I didn't bring it in to show you. But I have been doing a ton of spinning. Oh my gosh, so much spinning. I showed you last time the Wool Gatherings fiber sampler that my friend Monica bought me for a birthday get well present. And as I said, I have been spinning just about one breed a day. I took my birthday off, and I've taken a couple, like, we went to Bar Harbor on Saturday, so I took Saturday off. But basically, I spin an ounce, and I apply the ounce from the previous day. I pretty much do that every day. So it's working with 2 ounces a day, but applying is never the same as spinning. So I thought I would show you what I have done so far. I have not really been bullet journaling because I've not been working, but I have been, I did start a new journal specifically for the breed study, and I'm going to show you a little bit about that. But let me show you the breeds first, and then I'll get into this in the last section in case nobody wants to see that. So, so far I have spun. Let's check. Oh, this is the first one, I think. Yeah, the first one is Dorset Horn, and I spun all of these sort of how they wanted to be spun, and then I applied them into a 2-ply. Some of these yarns, I've already made notes, would do better, I think, as a single than as a 2-ply. But for the sake of consistency, I wanted to make sure I had spun and plied everyone. So this is Dorset Horn, and it is incredibly floofy. Like, if you compare the diameter of this, they're all an ounce, to the diameter of this, like, you can totally tell how much loft this one has versus this one. This would make an awesome sweater yarn, I think, Dorset Horn. It's got a ton of loft. Like, the fibers want to be apart from each other. So even as a single, I think it would be awesome. But this is applied, this is 36 yards of a 2-ply. Very smushy. Not the softest yarn, but man, does it got smoosh. The next one I spun was Merino. This is 98 yards of a 2-ply. It's merino. I've spun merino before. I've not spun undyed merino before, and that was fun. It's interesting to me as I go through to see which fibers have Kemp, which fibers have colored fibers in them, which ones don't. I mean, merino really doesn't have anything other than nice, fine fiber. But textile had some Kemp in it and some darker fibers. That's Icelandics hanging out on it. Stop that. And of course, they all have dog hair in them because that's just how my life is. So this is textile. The textile is 28 yards of a 2-ply. They probably all look the same color to you, but each of these ecrus is a little bit different. This one is more buttery. The merino is more beige. Dorset Horn was more sort of middle of the road. And the Perindale that I've got right now on my bobbin is actually more white. So this is a singles bobbin of Perindale. All right, so sorry, textile. I'm getting ahead of myself. The fourth one I spun is probably my favorite so far. This is Zwartables. And this is 104 yards of a 2-ply. And I freaking fell in love with this fiber. It was very dense in the top, but it just split. Like, it just didn't want to be together. Like, it just pulled right apart. And drafted really, really fine. It wanted to be spun very, very fine, which is why I got 104 yards out of a 2-ply. It's a rich chocolate brown. It's called black, but it's not a true black. And it has these heathered bits of lighter fiber in there. This was delightful. It has a bit of a crisp finish to it, but I really enjoyed this. I think this would make a great, like, half shawl. So that was his Wartables, and then the most recent one I spun was the Icelandic. And this is a gray, heathered gray with the tog and thell are different. So the tog is the outside and the thell is the soft downy undercoat. And you can probably see that those are pretty hairy because they separate out as you, like here's a tog fiber. And they separate out as you spin and kind of make this wild, crazy, hairy yarn. This is another one I think probably, well, I mean, it really wanted to ply, but the fibers would probably sit down better if they didn't. I am keeping this one long tail, and I'll show you why when I do the journal. But that's not an accident. That's out on purpose. So this was 26 yards of a 2-ply. So I've gotten from 26 to 104 yards for an ounce. I do try a couple of different ways of spinning and amounts of draw and amounts of take up in the first few feet to sort of let the fiber tell me what it wants to be. Like the Dorset Orn really wanted to be thick. That's all it wanted to be. And this Wartables, the only way I could spin it was very fine. So it's been a very good learning experience. I showed you the Parendel on the bobbin. That's today's plying, and today's spinning is actually going to be Suffolk. If you'd like to do a breed study, if you're interested, I really highly recommend woolgatheringsfibers.com. woolgatheringsfibers.com. These are all, I'm sorry that tissue paper is bothering you. I'll cover that up in just a second. They're all in comb top. They're all clean, processed, easy to spin right from this. You don't have to do any additional prep if you don't want to. Really makes grab and go spinning convenient. I'm going to fix that noise, so give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Hopefully that will stay up this time. So that's what I've been spinning. There really hasn't been a lot in growth or processes because I've not worked. I hope to get the club done this week and out. And then it's really going to be back to progress as normal. I still have a bunch of stuff to add in the shop. I did put some things back in there, but it will be a slow process as I add stuff every day. So keep checking back for that. I have both yarn and fiber going up in the shop, as well as the Chigu needle stuff. So what I have left is some grabby hands. This was sent to me by my friend, dear friend, Coggy, who just had a birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Coggy. We're almost birthday twins. And Coggy is the hostess of the High Fiber Diet podcast. She's active on Instagram, and she also has an Etsy shop. And the Etsy shop is etsy.com/shop/thehighfiberdiet. She sent me this yarn, and it's amazing. It's called 80s Gym Clothes, and it's this beautiful blend of hot pink and electric blue, and there's a couple places where the colors sort of blend into this peachy coral color. It's gorgeous. I really want to pair this with like a dark blue. I have a navy blue Volmise that I think it might go well with. And she also sent me some Absolute Wonder stitch markers, and these are stitch markers that I love because they don't have they're not like the key ring sort of ring that has the opening, you know, like that. It's the regular, like, fully closed ring so your yarn doesn't get caught in. I love that. So thank you so much, Coggy, for my presents. The other thing, I talked about this last time, but now I have actual practical information to share with you. Annie Maley, who is the chef aboard the J&E Riggin, which was the ship that I talked all about last time, has this new cookbook out. And I have cooked several recipes from this, and I can tell you that everything that I made was a huge hit. Now, the thing specifically that I want to mention to you is this starter bread recipe. Okay? Holy crap, is this amazing. So it does take a little bit of prep because you have to make a starter and it has to sit for a couple days and so on and so forth. But I've been making bread since right before my surgery, and it's amazing. Oh my god. First of all, I've never been successful making actual bread where you actually knead it and let it rise and then knead it and then let it rise and then cook it and the whole kit, like actual bread. I've done bread machine bread and I've done quick breads, but actual bread has thus far eluded me in my baking, and I'm a pretty good baker. So I tried Annie's recipe, and holy crap, is it a home run. And her recipe gives you 3 loaves of bread. So what I've been doing is making the 3. I bake 1 and put the other 2 in the freezer so that I can eat them at my leisure. And then the starter goes back in your fridge, and pretty much you cook, I make a batch of 3 loaves a week. So I'm eating about 3 loaves of bread a week. But I know all of you who know that I'm supposed to be gluten-free are like, but let me tell you, it's got no bad ingredients in it. It just has flour, oil, sugar, yeast, salt. Like, that's it. That's all it has in it. And turns out my body can actually digest that fairly well. I can't digest commercial bread nearly as well as I can digest that stuff. And it's way more delicious, and it looks just like it's the size of regular sandwich bread, and it's got the same size air holes as regular sandwich bread, and but it's 10 times more delicious. So good. I bought some Stonewall Kitchen apple cider jam. Oh, the 2 together were heaven. In fact, I let my husband have a bite, and he ended up eating half of one of my pieces of toast one night because it was so delicious he couldn't stop eating it. It's amazing. I have a loaf, actually, of the dough thawing on my counter right now because it's time for more bread because my husband finished off the loaf that I had yesterday. So good. If you have not yet purchased that cookbook, you need it. It's good. I've also had, I don't know if there's a table of contents or just the index. I have had I'm sorry, I've had a lot of these. But now I can't find them. November, maybe? I made the hard cider braised brisket. I did not make the cider rolls to that just because I had just made bread. So we did them like open face Thanksgiving night sandwiches. So good. I did, I've had the chocolate tart with sea salt caramel bark. I have not made it, but I've had it. I had it on the ship and it was delicious. I know I've had other stuff. Sorry, this is all dead air. Pork, potato, and parsnip hash with poached eggs and asparagus. Delicious. Although my poached eggs were kind of a fail. That wasn't Annie's fault. That was my fault. I don't think my eggs were fresh enough. Everything in here is amazing. So I look forward to having more of these meals as I go through. And her photography, food photography is great. Let me show you one of the... So this is one of the things that people had on the ship. I didn't, but people did. It's broiled brown sugar and black pepper grapefruit. Oh, my dog's going to bark because somebody's outside. Sorry, he'll shut up in a minute, hopefully. With the windows open, he can hear a lot more, and the kids are out of school, so they're all outside, so he's doing a lot of barking. Jackson. Still frightening. Okay, so get that. You can get it at home at sea or mainwindjammer.com. And if you can't find it, let me know and I will send you a direct link because her cookbook is phenomenal. Alright, so that really leaves just my bullet journaling for those people who are interested. And like I said before, this isn't a specific bullet journal. It's not my usual one. But I got some new stuff and I want to show you it because it's amazing and hopefully enable you a little bit into some stuff. So I knew with the breed study I wanted to have a special notebook for it. And I ended up going with this notebook, which was my bullet journal is a moleskin, but this is, and forgive me if I'm butchering the name, a Leutstrom 1917 book. It's the half size. It's not the full size. It's the 5.5 by 8.5 size. Something similar to that. So, sorry, my phone's going to make a noise. The paper is a little bit thicker. It's a little bit nicer paper if you are going to be writing with fountain pens, which is maybe a rabbit hole I fell down. hard right before my surgery. I've been following Goulet Pens on Instagram, Goulet Pens, and man, they've got some really good marketing on their Instagram because holy crap, do I want to buy all the things. So I bought the Electrum I actually got from Amazon, but as soon as I bought it, then the next day Goulet added some Leutstroms to their site, so you can get it all there. So this is just the black soft side Leutstrom 1917. It has a table of contents, which you'll see I've been writing in. So I have the table of contents. And each page, this is the introduction, so it says sort of what the purpose is of the journal and how I've organized it. Get out of there, human hair. You don't belong there. And essentially what I've been doing is making notes as I spin. So the top part is breed characteristic information. So information about the breed from the Fleece and Fiber Sourcebook, which I love and use as my go-to for information about breeds. After that, I have initial impressions. So that's when I take the ball band off and I kind of squish it and feel it and say what it feels like. I notice, is there Kemp fiber in it? I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but there's a, see that black wrinkly fiber right there? That's a piece of Kemp. It almost looks like plastic. It's a thicker fiber. It's like an outer coat. It does feel almost like a thin piece of plastic. So that's Kemp. So I know whether or not there's any Kemp in it, how dense it feels, whether it feels soft or smooth or rough or crisp or whatever. So that's the initial impression. And then the next section is spinning experience. So this is what I felt, noticed, and did as I spun the singles. And then underneath is the plying experience. And then beside it, I have a little piece of the top unspun and a little piece of the yarn spun up in the 2-ply. And I tape that in after, I tape in the fiber before I spin and then tape in the yarn after it has been soaked and set and dried. So you'll see, like I have textile and Zordables, but I only have the fiber for the Parendale and the Icelandic because I haven't, this one hasn't been soaked and set, and this one hasn't been plied yet. You'll also see my colors are changing because I've changed colors on my pens now. If you're gonna take a copious amount of notes, you should use a pen that really makes you happy. And boy, does this pen make me happy. This is the Pilot Metropolitan Retro Pop pen. It is available on gouletpens.com for $15, and I checked on Amazon and it's $15.25, and that does not necessarily include shipping. I didn't look to see if it was Prime shipping or what. So the point is it's the same price whether you use Amazon or Goulet, and Goulet is a small company, so I would recommend you use Goulet. And it is a fountain pen, and basically this is not the fountain pen that you dip into the ink. This is the fountain pen that comes with a cartridge. So you can unscrew, this is a metal, you can hear if I hit my nail on it. Can you hear that? Maybe not, but it's a metal body. And here's my ink cartridge. This is a red cartridge. I started out with dark green, so the ink is transitioning through the colors. And you probably can't see, but there's these blades right here, these like blades, vines, lines, whatever you want to call them, and the ink flows down through those. So this bit has stored ink in it, and then it flows down through into the tip. And this is a fine point because I prefer fine lines when I'm writing, and it's slowly transitioning from the green to the red, which I really have sort of enjoyed that process. It writes so much better than any pen I've ever written with in my life ever. I'm never going back. In fact, I'm going to buy more. My mom sent me a check for $50 for my birthday, and I'm probably going to buy pens. Because dang, am I in love. I don't know that I'm going to get super into the dipping of the pens into the inks. I'm a lefty when I write. I do everything else right-handed, but I write mostly left-handed, and I find that when you write with your left hand, you've got to get something that dries fairly quickly, because otherwise your hand smears across and messes everything up. I don't write hooked. I write, at a 45, but still. why take the chance? Although that may change. I may decide I really want a fountain dipped pen. The Goulet pens, I will say, has a pen for every possible budget and personality type. They have one of a dragon eating a sword. That's like a $1,200 pen. No joke. It's a pen that costs $1,200. I mean, a pen for that much would have to give me like free massages for a year. Like, I just am not going to spend that much on it. This was $15 and I'm totally happy with it. The Lamy Safari is another one that a lot of people use, and that's like a $30 pen, so I may try that one. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I love it. This is the Aqua or Turquoise or something. I don't remember. They're all on the site. Check them out. But anyway, the whole point of that was to say that I'm really loving both the Leuchtturm and the fountain pen together. There's a little ghosting. Ghosting is when you can see what's written on the previous page, but no bleed through. And like you can see, that's not enough to bother me. And especially like this page has been ghosted and you really can't tell once you write on it. So I am having a fabulous time. Fabulous time. So I have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fibers. So I'm a fifth of the way through the process. The box is 30. And I'm still going strong. I'm really enjoying the whole process. An ounce is not, even a fine yarn is not enough to like tire me out. And I have a dual throttle wheel and I spin pretty much either on the couch, which I did for the first few days, or in my office chair, which is pretty ergonomic. So despite being in pain the first few days after surgery, I was still able to spin. I think I spun on Saturday or Sunday, which was pretty rad. I was pretty tired after that, though. Okay, this is getting long, and I don't have a whole lot to show you. I haven't dyed anything since the last episode because I haven't worked. I'm not allowed to pick up anything over 15 pounds, which includes my bucket of dyes. They sit in the kitchen on an island in a big tub, and I am not allowed to pick up the tub to put them on the top. So I'll be dyeing the club, but I only need a few colors for that, so I'm literally just going to pick out the colors that I need and use those. I'm trying to follow directions. It's hard. I feel fine. I feel fine. I will say, if I overdo it, I notice it pretty quickly. And that's one of the other reasons I stopped taking pain meds, because I wanted to feel if I was overdoing it. So, like, I forgot and was playing tug-of-war with the dog, and then was like, ooh, yeah, I shouldn't be doing that. No, you can just have that, Tubbs. Enjoy it. He didn't really understand, but I was like, no, I'm actually kind of done here. So that's that. But I hope you guys are having a fantastic summer. I hope that things are going well where you are. I hope you're able to get out and enjoy the weather. It has been in the mid to high 80s and no rain the past few days. Today is supposed to get up to 88, which means we will probably take the dog swimming tonight, which he will love. I hope, because if you haven't been able to walk him. And let me know if you need anything. I'm going to slowly get back into the swing of things as I can. And I hope to start cranking those dye pots again. So I will say goodbye for now. And until next time, happy spinning and knitting. And thanks for tuning in.